Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. This is a channel where we discuss lots of motorsports, but namely NASCAR, ARCA, IndyCar, and Formula One. On today's edition of the Xfinity Rewind, we're looking back at today's 24th annual Zippo 200 at the Glen, 82 laps, 200.9 miles around the 2.45 mile road course, Watkins Glen International in Watkins Glen, New York. We had a few full course cautions, if I can talk, full course cautions in this race, 7 to be exact, for 20 laps. Usually the thing with road course races is you'll have local yellows, not necessarily a full course caution, but we did have a few. We had some rain making things interesting in this race because it's the Xfinity Series and because it's a road course. They can run in the rain. They have rain tires, so we just kept running right on through the rain, which made things kind of interesting in the middle portions of this race. First caution was at lap 6, very early, as the 78 of Tommy Joe Martins landed it in the wall in turn number 6. That was the only full course caution in stage number 1. That ended at lap 20. Your stage 1 winner would be Joey Logano from the pole. Stage 2, we had a couple of incidents. First one, lap 28, as the 2 of Matt Tifft and the 24 of Justin Haley got together in turn number 4. That would end both of their days. And the other incident for stage number 2 was at lap 37, as the 01 of Vinnie Miller slid it right into the tires in turn number 1. Just went straight, all 4 of them locked up as he went into turn number 1 in the wet conditions. And that would be the end of the day for Vinnie Miller. Stage 2 ended at lap 40. Stage 2 winner would be AJ Allmendinger, who was driving the 23 car for GMS this week. And in the final stage, we also had 2 incidents. The first one being at lap 68 of 82, as the 45 car of Josh Bilicki stalled in turn number 1. That would bring out the caution. And then lap 73, as we were inside 10 laps to go, the 8 car of Scott Heckert stalled on the track as well. So only real incidents, at least that warranted full course cautions in the last stage, were for cars stalling on the track. Leaders on the day, had a few of them. 31 laps led by Joey Logano. That was the most on the day. 26 also went to his teammate Brad Keselowski. 11 laps went to AJ Allmendinger. 8 laps led by Ryan Preece. 4 laps went to Alex Labbe. And 1 lap apiece to Tyler Reddick and Jeremy Clements. Alright, so we'll get into your results for the Zippo 200 at the Glen. Joey Logano would take the victory in this one. Had a really good battle going at the end of the race with his teammate Brad Keselowski. Unfortunately, Brad got in a little too hot into turn number 1 late in the race, locked up the brakes, spun it out, came very close to taking out Joey. It was a matter of inches, but Brad ends up spinning by himself off the track of turn number 1. I think he came back on track in 14th, and as you see there at the bottom of the list, still managed to get a top 10 finish on the day. Definitely not what he was looking for, though, as I think he was the faster of the 2 cars at the end of the race. AJ Allmendinger came home with a strong second place finish, getting Justin Allgaier right at the line. Allgaier looked like he was coming home with a solid second place finish till he came off of turn 11. Ryan Preece had a strong run as well, came home in the 4th position, and Eric Almirola in the 98 car this week, the Go Bowling Ford, came home with a top 5 finish. Rest of your top 10 were Cole Custer, Brandon Jones, Ryan Reed, Christopher Bell, and Brad Keselowski. 11th through 20th, Tyler Reddick, your Daytona winner, comes home in the 11th position, as well as his Junior Motorsports teammate Elliott Sadler in 12th. Austin Cindric in the 60 car this week came home in the 13th position. Kaz Gralla with another strong 15th place finish for that still fairly new race team, Fury Race Cars, that 61 car in the 15th position. Daniel Hemrick off late. Did have a fairly strong run going early, 3rd in the first stage, 5th in the second stage, but came home in the 16th position. Michael Annett, 17th, not really what he was looking for, as he's still trying to close that gap on the cutoff line on the playoff grid. 17th, not really going to do much for you on that front. Ryan Truex had an off day as well, 18th, and Ross Chastain comes home in the 20th position. 21st through 30th. Austin Dillon had a fairly strong run going early, 8th in the first stage, just kind of off late in the race, though 25th for Austin Dillon. Kyle Larson had some engine problems late after being fairly quick early, 2nd in the first stage, 3rd in the second stage, but came home in the 27th position. 31st through 40th, we see Matt Tifft and Justin Haley down here, 37th and 38th. We talked about their problems early on in the race, lap 28. That would be where they would fall on the day. Matt Tifft takes a hit in the points from that one. All right, so that's your results for the Zippo 200 at the Glen. Now let's head over to the Watkins Glen Media Center, and we'll see what your top finishers on the day had to say after this one.
I've done it a couple of times here in the Cup race. Yeah, just a dumb mistake on my part. You're just coming in for fuel there, and still a little bit damp on pit road, and I just was trying to come in easy. It's hard. There's so much rubber on the pit lines that I rolled in, and I must touch a damp spot and just slid a little bit more than I expected, and got the nose over the line, and they'd already started to refuel. And then I didn't know the rule. I thought it was just a drive-through, so I didn't realize I had to stop, wait for a lap. So got lucky on the yellow there, and I just knew once we got the yellow, I was going to have to start roughing some people up and drive through there as hard as I could. I tried to make the restart that Justin made on the last restart. He actually made a better restart than I did. So, but overall, to get back to second, the Penske cars looked like they were the dominant cars. They kind of looked like they could toy with us a little bit. Wish we had a little bit of practice, because I was just a little bit on the loose side all day, and couldn't quite roll the speed off the corner like the Penske cars. But it was fun, thanks to GMS Racing and ISM Connect, and Aftershocks is their first race here, so try to put on a show for them. Hopefully they stay. This is it's a cool sport, and just thankful for the opportunity. So I was just trying to get everything I could for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, right there at the end, AJ and I never touched coming to the end. I just had a slight miscommunication on my part as to where he was at. But the last restart there, we got inside and had some contact, but unfortunately, I had one in that was hitting me in the right rear corner and one that was hitting me in the left front. And I thought we were actually going to spin out there. AJ thought it was a good move. He told me afterwards, he said, that was a move I thought we needed to make. But there for a few moments, it almost looked like it wasn't going to hold. So, these races, I felt like today was aggressive, but kind of I felt like the race today was a lot cleaner than what we see a lot of times in some of these road course events in the Xfinity Series. Guys were pushing the issue, but you didn't see a whole lot of guys running into each other and just flat moving people out of the way. So I felt confident about our Brent Professional Agriculture Camaro. I thought it was really, really fast in certain areas, and we had to use those kind of sections to our advantage. We just had a tough time getting by some guys. Some of my weakness was kind of, as AJ said, to just rolling the center corner and then getting off the corner quite as good as some of them. I know the Penske cars were really good at that. But all in all, just a solid day. We came in here. We knew we needed to capitalize on the points to try and gain some of those points back. And these road courses can kind of go one way or the other for you. So I feel like we gained some valuable points today, and hopefully we can push it into next week into Mid-Ohio and carry some momentum.
Well, we both overdrove that corner because that was the closest he was in a few laps, and I knew he was thinking that was going to be his chance. So I knew I had to drive in that corner pretty hard unless he was going to get to the inside of me. And I think I can't speak for him, but I'm pretty sure he thought he was going to drive in harder than me wherever I was. And I started braking, and I thought, oh no, I'm going to wheel hop this thing. And I looked in the mirror and saw smoke and a car sideways, and then got piled into. And I said, well, I guess he got in a little harder even. But we both were just pushing those cars as hard as we possibly could as qualifying laps from when the green flag dropped. And you see how we were able to pull away from a lot of the fields. We were just running so hard It's a real testament to what the cars and the motors. We're revving them out as high as we can. We're pushing the brakes as hard as we freaking can. We're sliding these things around, doing everything we can do to beat each other. So, we knew we were going to have a fun, clean race. You know that when you race against your teammate. But I thought I was going to be able to pull away, and I couldn't.
All right, so let's take a look at your playoff grid following the Zippo 200 before wrapping up tonight. And obviously nothing really changing on the winner's side, as nobody that's an Xfinity regular won this race, as Joey Logano won. Still a very close battle here at the top of the guys in on points, as Cole Custer, Daniel Hemrick, and Elliott Sadler only separated by 4 points. Sadler actually dropped a couple spots this week. Austin Cindric jumps up a spot over Matt Tifft this week, up to the 9th position. Tifft, as we remember, had the problems early with Justin Haley, so that drops him in the points a little bit. Ryan Reed now up triple digits on the cutoff line. And Ross Chastain, Michael Annett, no change there whatsoever. Still a 40-point gap at the cutoff line. Michael Annett's really going to have to start working pretty hard here if he wants to get into the playoffs, because 40 points, especially if he's running fairly close to where Ross Chastain is every week, it's not really gonna do much. There's just no way to cut into that gap when, like this week for example, Annett finishes 17th, Chastain finishes 20th, and they both got the same amount of points this week because Ross Chastain had stage points for finishing 8th in the second stage. So you're not going to do much finishing 17th if you're Michael Annett. There's got to be some way to pick up the performance on that 5 car if they want to get into the playoffs. And there's smart guys on that crew. They'll figure out something. If there's any way for them to get into the playoffs, they will figure it out. So rest assured, if you're a Michael Annett fan, they are doing whatever they can do to get into the playoffs. And then the rest of these guys down here, they're going to need a win. Which is not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, we saw Jeremy Clements win at Road America last year, so that is still possible. Maybe not necessarily Jeremy Clements, but one of these guys down here could definitely sneak in and pick up a win here before the playoffs. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. This top 12 isn't completely set at this point, but the opportunities to get in are becoming fewer and fewer as we go forward. All right, so that is going to do it for this week's edition of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show. We've got a little bit more coming up this weekend. As usual, we will have a Cup Rewind tomorrow for the Go Bowling at the Glen. That'll be sometime tomorrow evening after the race. That'll go up. And then Pole Position, as usual, Monday night, 8 p.m. So you want to make sure you check out all of that coming up this weekend on Racing News Now. Alright, so if you haven't done it already, be sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of that going forward. And hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.